don't know if I should be preparing for interviews because I might not be invited. Do you know how silly you sound when you say that? I've heard that from so many people that they are going to wait until they hear back, or they're not confident that they're going to hear back from an interview. And if you're asking yourself whether you should wait, until you get invited to interview to start your preparation, don't bother, because you're not fit for Oxbridge. If you really want to study at Oxbridge, you should look forward to interviews. You should look forward to preparing for them. You should be preparing for them even if there weren't interviews. You should be looking, because what is interviews? What is preparing for interviews? What does that entail? That means getting to do more maths and building your communication skills, both of which, if you want to go and study at Oxford, you need to have. If you want to go and study at Cambridge, you need to have. And it's building those skills. And so you should want to do that anyway. So, long story short, is if you've applied to Oxford or Cambridge, you'll have to do an interview before they give you an offer. Start preparing. If you haven't already, you should have already started preparing. Firstly, who am I? If it's the first time you're seeing my face, my name's Jamie and I studied maths at Oxford University. I did the MAT, did the interviews, got an offer, studied there. Now I help students all across the globe who want to study maths, get into studying at Oxford or Cambridge. And last year I had 13 students, 12 of them received offers from Oxbridge. So without sounding arrogant, I do know what I'm doing. Why wait until you get invited to interviews? You're going to get invited to interviews around the 25th of November, which might give you give you around 2 weeks, probably less than 2 weeks till your first interview to prepare. Do you really think in less than 2 weeks you're going to be able to develop the skills to smash the interviews? Likelihood is no. And so if you have this mindset that, oh, I might not get invited to interviews, you've already basically accepted defeat. But also, let's actually take a step back and have a holistic view on this. Why do Oxford and Cambridge do interviews? And why do universities, maybe like Imperial, not have interviews for maths? Because Imperial actually gets more applicants than Oxford and Cambridge. If you think about it, most people who apply to Oxford or Cambridge, they'll all apply to Imperial. Plus, Imperial having the later submission date means generally people who apply after the October 15th, they'll still have Imperial as an option to apply for. So they get way more applicants than either Oxford or Cambridge do. But why don't they do interviews? It's because that's not how they teach there. In Oxford, you have tutorials. In Cambridge, you have supervisions. They're the same thing, where you get taught in very small groups, where the focus of that is discussion. You're discussing mathematics. Yeah, there's an element of writing to it, but you're discussing ideas. And the same is true for any subject. And the interview, in a way, is there to simulate that, to see if you would fit well into that system. Because if you think about it, why would the head of Oxford or the head of Cambridge not just give you guys another exam to do if they wanted to filter down students? It'd be way cheaper for them, and it would require less time, less energy for them. The reason they don't do that is because they want to see how well you teach, how teachable you are, and how well you'd fit into the Oxford/Cambridge teaching system. So that's why they have interviews. Now, how should you be preparing? Well, I've got a whole interview preparation program that I'm running, so I'll leave a link for that in the description below if you're looking to get the same results that my students last year got. But in general, what should you be doing from today? Well, getting better at maths, doing more maths problems. I mean, that's kind of pretty generic advice, but it's so useful advice. If you want to get better at maths, do more maths. But you should also be practicing your explanation skills. You should be practicing your explanation skills, practicing your communication skills, but more specifically when it comes to math. So one thing that most students, yourself probably included, will find is when you try and explain something in math, literally verbally out loud to someone else, you're going to struggle. And that's because the last 15 years, you've been assessed through an exam. So long story short to this video is, if you have the mindset of, oh, I'm going to wait for 4 weeks till I start preparing for interviews, you may as well not prepare at all, even once they give you the offer, because I'll be honest, you're not going to get in. You don't have the right mindset to survive Oxbridge. But if you seriously want a shot, which I presume is why you used it as one of your spaces to, in your 5 universities that you can put on your form, you've put it on there because you want to get that offer. So take it seriously, start today. Click off this video, click off YouTube, start your preparation now. Lock in.